Welcome to my channel, C.S. Lewis Spirit. Today's story takes us far beyond the world we know, into the unseen war between light and shadow. The title says it all. When Lucifer broke the chains, heaven sent its strongest angel. But what really happened the day heaven's light trembled, and the sound of broken chains echoed across eternity? It began in silence, not the kind that comforts, but the kind that warns. Deep within the unseen realms, a storm was forming, a rebellion that had once been buried beneath divine judgment. The Ancient One, known once as the brightest of all creation, had waited in the void for countless ages. Lucifer, the fallen morning star, was stirring again. No one in the mortal world could feel it yet, but the angels knew. The balance between good and evil had started to shift. Somewhere between heaven and earth, whispers spread, whispers that the chains were weakening. Legends said those chains were forged not from metal, but from divine will itself, a will that only God could command. But even divine will is tested by free choice, and the universe was about to remember why Lucifer had once been feared. The skies began to tremble. In the quiet corners of the world, people felt strange dreams, visions of light colliding with darkness, of a burning crown falling from the heavens. And in the higher realm, an ancient council gathered. Archangels who once fought beside Lucifer now stood ready again, waiting for the command of the Almighty. Among them was one whose name had not been spoken in ages, heaven's strongest, the guardian of faith, the bringer of divine justice. He was known as Seraphiel. When heaven sent him before, stars fell and oceans parted. This time, he would be sent not to destroy, but to protect the fragile hearts of humankind, who stood unknowingly between two eternal forces. Lucifer's awakening was not a cry for war, but for vengeance. His purpose had twisted over time, no longer to challenge God, but to prove that creation itself was flawed. And that's when the first sign appeared on earth, a tear of light over the desert sky, burning like a second sun. Scientists called it a cosmic flare. Prophets called it a sign. But the angels knew. The chains were gone. As Seraphiel descended, his wings shimmered like liquid fire, and the air trembled with the sound of a heartbeat that wasn't human. The battle had not yet begun, but heaven and hell were both watching. And when his feet touched the earth, the first whisper escaped the shadows. He's awake. What happens next will decide the fate of both heaven and humanity. The night after Seraphiel's arrival was unlike any other. Across the world, strange signs began to unfold. Storms without thunder, shadows that moved against the light, and dreams shared by people who had never met. In those dreams, a voice whispered the same words over and over. The morning star rises again. Humanity stood on the edge of something it couldn't see, and yet everyone could feel it. A quiet pull between faith and fear. Seraphiel walked among people in human form, unseen but present. His heart, though divine, felt the weight of human pain. He saw kindness fading, truth twisted, and hearts heavy with doubt. It was here that the real battle began, not with swords or fire, but within souls. Lucifer's plan was not to destroy the world in a single moment, but to turn it against its own light, one heart at a time. Somewhere deep in the city, a young woman named Elena began hearing whispers too. She thought they were echoes of her thoughts, until one night she saw a figure of light standing by her window. She didn't know that her life was about to become the center of the unseen war. Lucifer had marked her, not for her sin, but for her faith. And Seraphiel had been sent to protect her, though even he did not yet understand why. Above them, the heavens grew restless. The other angels watched in silence as the balance shifted further. For every good deed done on earth, a darker force rose in response. The war wasn't coming. It had already begun, quietly, invisibly. And in the unseen places between heaven and hell, Lucifer smiled. His chains were broken, but his plan had only just begun. Days turned into nights, and the air around Elena grew heavier with every passing hour. The strange dreams became visions, flashes of wings, fire, and faces she didn't recognize but somehow felt connected to. Each time she woke, the same words echoed in her mind. The strongest angel walks beside you. She didn't know what it meant, but deep down, she could feel something watching over her. At the same time, something darker was following too, hiding just beyond her sight. Seraphil could sense Lucifer's presence drawing closer. The fallen one had not yet revealed himself fully, but his influence was spreading through whispers, doubt, and temptation. The city seemed to breathe in his shadow. People arguing in the streets, friends turning on each other, hope fading quietly from human hearts. Seraphil moved through it all unseen, his strength dimmed by the growing darkness around him. The closer Lucifer came, the heavier the world felt. One evening, Elena stood beneath the same tear of light that had first appeared in the sky. The air pulsed with energy, the clouds shifting like a living storm. She heard a voice, calm, powerful, and filled with sorrow, calling her name. It was Seraphil, revealing himself for the first time, his light breaking through the shadows. But with that light came another presence, ancient and cold, rising from the depths of the unseen realm. The ground trembled. The city lights flickered. Every living soul felt a chill pass through them. Seraphil's wings unfolded, his gaze locked on the darkness forming before him. And in that silence, a voice older than time spoke, smooth, familiar, and full of power. You can't protect them forever. The sky darkened. The final confrontation was no longer a prophecy. It was here. The voice echoed through the trembling air, and for a moment, everything stood still. Seraphil's light flickered as if the world itself had forgotten how to breathe. The darkness before him began to shift, not taking the form of Lucifer as he had known, but something far more haunting, a reflection. It was Seraphil's own face, twisted with pain and doubt. The realization struck him like thunder. Lucifer wasn't appearing in his old form. He was using Seraphil's own essence against him. Somehow, through the weakening barrier between heaven and earth, the fallen one had found a way to mirror the angel's power. Elena watched in terror as two beings of light faced each other, their energies clashing like storm and fire. She could barely stand from the force pressing down on her, yet her heart whispered that something wasn't right. One of them carried warmth, a presence that made her feel safe even amid the chaos. The other carried perfection, but it was cold, hollow, and painfully beautiful. Lucifer had learned the art of imitation. He knew the one thing humanity feared most wasn't darkness, but not being able to tell light from it. Seraphil hesitated for the first time. Every move he made, the mirrored figure followed. Every word he spoke was echoed with perfection. It wasn't just a trick. Lucifer had tapped into the doubt inside him. The strongest angel was being tested not by battle, but by his own uncertainty. If he struck, he might destroy the wrong reflection. If he waited, humanity might fall. Above them, the tear in the sky widened. A soft, golden rain began to fall, each drop glowing faintly before fading into ash as it touched the ground. Heaven was watching, but it would not intervene. This was a war of faith, a test that neither side could win through force. Then came the twist that neither expected. The golden rain touched Elena's hand, and light surged through her body. Her eyes glowed with a faint shimmer, the same radiance that once marked celestial beings. She fell to her knees as memories not her own filled her mind. Glimpses of ancient battles, the sound of angelic voices, the weight of forgotten promises. Seraphil's gaze locked onto her in shock. She wasn't just chosen. She was connected to something older than either heaven or hell. And as Lucifer's reflection smiled, his voice softened, almost kind. "Now you understand," he whispered. The chains were never mine to break. The ground split beneath them, and the light dimmed. The war had just changed, and no one, not even the angels, knew whose side the world truly stood on.